Boston, and Spain is good afternoon, so far as Milan is concerned. And of course, in South Africa also it's late good afternoon. And India is good evening. Singapore is good evening. Afghanistan is good evening. And I fold hands and say namaste. That is the way we do it these days. And of course, salam alaikum, because salam is what we do it in our Muslim culture.
Walaikum
And
assalam.
yeah, walaikum salam. And sawadikap. Sawadikap is the Thai culture. And there are my friends from Thailand. I can see Khun Samsung, my executive director of India Thai Chamber of Commerce, already there. And I would like to welcome each one of you to this third round of Women Power program of Global Talent. However, before I would like to welcome all the attendees who are joining from various parts of the world. And before I move further, I have a very important thing to share with you, that my mentor, my father, my friend, patron of Global Talent Company, Padma Shri Dr. Preetam Singh, a well-known name not only in India, but globally. Padma Shri Preetam Singh was with us on 14th of May here at an event which was Strategic Leadership, wherein he was with us along with other doctors of leadership. I call them doctors of leadership. He was a great doctor of leadership. Along with Padma Shri Preetam Singh, we had Dr. Asha Bhandarkar from India. We had Dr. Sunil Mithas from US. We had Dr. Devade Sola from UK. And we had Dr. Alfredo from Europe. And he was with us on that 14th May evening. And you remember what he talked to us, and that is a recorded statement I have put on LinkedIn. He said, leaders who work for others do not die. Leaders who work for themselves do die. This is a message I have put it on my LinkedIn, I have put it on my Twitter, as well as Facebook. He was again supposed to be with us on 28th of May when we had another program of HR leadership. But unfortunately, one day before, he had a mild heart attack. But he was absolutely fine. So we lost him. He has been a great leader. And you know what he used to talk? He used to say, nations do not get destroyed by weapons. I repeat, his say was, nations do not get destroyed by weapons. Nations get destroyed by poor quality of education. A great educationist, a great human being, institution builder. He was known as director with Midas touch. Globally recognized, globally awarded, and in India he was awarded as Padma Shri status, which is very powerful. First educationist in the country who has been given such a status, such a powerful man. So I would request all the esteemed speakers as well as attendees to kindly we pray for him for 1 minute silence. We start now. Thank you so much. We pray for his soul rest in peace, though he is not with us, but he is watching us from there, and he is looking at us that we are taking his mission forward in terms of helping the human race, irrespective of caste, creed, gender, nationality, religion, and color. A true global leader. It's a it's a personal loss to me because he was exactly like my father. I lost my father when I was at 14 years old, and he has shaped my life. And I can see here Dr. Anu Singh Latter. She has also been associated with Padma Shri Pritam Singh last 30 years. And when you see Roadmap to Success, my signature program globally, it is created by a team wherein he led it from the front 25 years back. And Anu Singh Latter has been part of this program.
Yes.
And whenever there used to be a public program of Roadmap to Success, he would come and deliver the inaugural, and even Dr. Kiran Bedi would deliver the valedictory. And last year, 2019, in October, we did the public program in India, Delhi, and he changed this program from Roadmap to Success to Roadmap to Sustainable Success. Ladies and gentlemen, I cannot forget this great personality who has been my father, who has been my friend, who has been my well-wisher to me and my family, and he has been part of our family. And many people in the world recognize and respect his contribution, not only to the institutions, education institutions, but to the corporate world. Life has to move on. And I had shared with him the power of women power, and we are moving forward. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to welcome each one of you to this very esteemed panel of women power. My dear participants, my dear delegates, you remember the first Women Power program after the lockdown we conducted was along with Dr. Kiran Bedi, who is again a promoter of Women Power. Along with her, we had Dr. Asha Bhandarkar from India, Sunny came from US, Sally came from Australia, Carolina came from Singapore, Ruchi came from India, Minau came from Lebanon, a Dutch lady, Honey came from Cape Town, and Matty Johnson came from Singapore. She's again from Europe. That was the first program. With the public demand, we had to go for program number 2. And we got program number 2 where we did Sister Shivani, a very powerful lady, again from India. Along with Sister Shivani, we got Claire from Jersey near UK. We got Tahira from Singapore. We got Angie from Thailand. We got Darlene from US. We got Paristo Yari from Afghanistan. And we got Neelam from India. And we said, okay, program number 2, great, let's move forward. And we kept doing other programs. Again, the public demand said, why don't you go for program number 3? And that is where we are here. Third program of Women Power. And in this third program, one by one, I will talk about each one of the great esteemed speakers with me. And I would request them to share, the stories of their life. Because today program of Women Power, while first one was challenges and solutions of women power, second one was women power, futuristic will, business entrepreneurship, whether they are on their own businesses or they are working for the corporate world, how do they really manage their affairs? But I am going to be doing it little different today. We will be today hearing the powerful stories of all these wonderful 8 women around. There are 8 women around. Yes, there are 8 women around. I am the only man here. So I would be starting with Dr. Anu Singh Lathar. And Dr. Lathar is a very well-known name in the country. She is right now the Vice Chancellor of one of the well-known university, which is Ambedkar University in the capital of India in Delhi. Before this, she was the Pro-Vice Chancellor of Delhi Technological University, very powerful university again. And she has held many positions, dean, director of various institutions, and the bio is very big. I don't think that I will be able to do that justice to such a powerful human being. I have personally known her last 30 years. As I said, she has been part of my family. And her statement on this women power is, as vanguards of human civilization, women drive the edifice and orifice of emotions towards epic moral path. I don't know. I still do not understand such a powerful statement from this women power, Dr. Anu Singh Lathar. Dr. Lathar, I would certainly like you to share with our delegates your powerful story of how you managed everything between family and as well as between the profession and reaching to such a height. How did you do that? Dr. Anu Singh Lathar, your story, please.
Thank you very much, DK, for giving such a wonderful introduction of mine that gives me assurance and confidence about how women have been acknowledged finally in this century. When I say that women are the vanguards of human civilization and they understand the edifice and orifice of human emotions, let me see how many of you can recall any woman in the history of humankind where she was a conqueror, she was a killer, she was a crusader, or she was someone who led genocide in any form. Even to think of a single case where any such woman existed. We did have women rulers. We did have efficient women rulers. We had very able women rulers. We had women rulers who expanded their existing empires. We had women rulers who were strong-willed. We had women rulers who were very passionate. And we had women rulers who spread the message of a very strong message of how culture and civilization can be brought together, woven together in the human race. While I make this statement, I strongly believe all the misadventures which happened in the world, be it any form, came from the men's side. It never came from the women's side. The edifice of human emotions, and I say, uh, I being a woman and all of you being a woman, we all have the gush and rush of emotions within us for each and everything. From a small little hand finger cut to a big event which happens in life, we are moved, we touched, we feel aggrieved, we feel disturbed, we feel as if something has been taken away from our soul, from inside. Even somebody who dies next door, somebody who dies in our community, or somebody who dies in a far off place where I read about somebody's, a bad story, I feel very pained because emotions are the edifice of our genomics. God has made us so different, and I would only want to give credit to God for making us so different, because from the beginning we see that women have shown that kind of passion even as young small children in the family when two siblings are brought up, a boy and a girl, you will see the difference between both of them. So God also has made us different. Uh, the orifice of the emotions would be, uh, where do we where do we understand that these emotions need to be channelized both in men and women in a way where it serves the purpose for taking the message of good values and civilization further. And while we look at that, every part of our culture, every civilization which has seen the light of the day and have made a difference in humankind have been the contribution of women, whether it is in the form of the art, the dance, the folk song, folk music, or in any form. So I say that the epic moral value, the epic moral path where human race ought to go is where women define it very clearly, very loudly. Coming back to my story as a woman, how I grew up and how I treaded my journey from childhood till the time I am here in front of you. Reflecting back, I see that I have always been a very disciplined child. If you would have ever asked my parents about how I was as a child, they'll always describe me as a very disciplined child, uh, uh, and discipline to an extent where uh, I was good at studies. I participated in all sports. I participated in all cultural activities wherever I got the opportunity in my life. And I went to typically a missionary school, a missionary convent school down south in India, because my father was from the army background. So discipline became part of all of us because he was a soldier. So we were all very disciplined in our day to day life. While I went to the missionary school, I learned a lot of good values through the way, and they pass on those good values and moral lessons in a more organized, in a more formated way they used to do it. And I happen to know a religion other than my own religion. I am a Hindu by birth, but my emotional connect to the Christianity has been so deep because of my schooling, because of the kind of moral education I got from there. When I look at the opportunity and challenges which I faced in my life, if I look at that, I never, my life has been very smooth because I never thought any challenge was any challenge for me. I thought it's a human script. We all are going to be scripting our own lives, and also God has scripted something for us for sure. I'm also very spiritual, so I believe that God has also written some kind of a script for us. So I only believe that the challenges which came into my life were actually the lessons, and they are way of those are a normal way of life we are all supposed to be living. Uh, your looks are not important. Your money is not important. Your name is not important. Your fame is not important. Believe me, seriously, with all these things, woman enjoys her special presence. I feel that what is important is your own self, your evolved self, your grown self, and that self comes and gets reflected in your personality. And this personality, when you are developing this personality, it needs to be connected very strongly to the soul. While personality must serve the soul, and when personality serves the soul, it does it through a very strong character women must have, or not only women, all men must also have, and that can be connected through some good spiritual values. uh, we women are born with a lot of compassion, lot of kindness, lot of generosity, lot of giving to others. And this part of our spiritual self, through our character, high moral values, is serving our soul. So I very strongly believe that evolving your personality, connecting and serving your soul is the final mission of all human beings. So in my life journey, I tried cultivating all this for myself, and I'm a happy mother, I'm a happy wife, I'm a happy sister, I'm a happy mother, I'm a happy daughter and daughter-in-law. Would you believe I have an extended family where my mother, who is 80 years old, she stays with me here, and I have mother-in-law who is 95 years old. She is with me. My father-in-law, who was 95 years old, he was also with me. He passed away last year. And my brother's daughter, she is doing her law program from Delhi. She also stays with me. So we are a big extended family of 12 members, and we cook for 12 people every day. Um, it's the kind of strong family connect in my life, which is actually the force, which is, and also a lot of support system which came from them. They were all there, and then these are the people who are permanently at home. And my brothers, my sisters, my cousins, we're all very well connected with each other. So that's the core strength of my life, and that is the story which drives me all through. Yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Anu Singh. And that is a very fascinating, evolving and connecting and moving forward. And the way you talked about your beautiful, wonderful family. And I know your family very well. Especially your loving husband, who has been a, Bollywood star. And I remember about your marriage and then connecting with the public and holding such a very senior position wherein you have so much of responsibilities. Thank you very much. I'll come back to you.
Sure.
I am going to now a very powerful, another wonderful lady. She is a Canadian and she is presently working in Boston. Yon, and she is Yon Coste is very, very strong. And today I want to tell you, again, she is very, very strong today. Because when you see her, her mom is right now in the hospital. And she is certainly going to be, you know, in next few hours or in a day, probably she is going to leave the world. And she is at that stage. But Yon even decided to be with us because she had committed to be with us. I am really personally grateful to Yon Coste for such an honor. And she has traveled globally. She has done a lot of small businesses, big businesses, worked in between, and she has created a name for herself. So when you see her background from a Spanish community to European to French to Canadian and to US and UK, a widely traveled person, very respectable in her circles, and she has contributed beautifully to the global world. She's a very strong power of my Women Power program, what we do, and her message is valorizing the fabric of diversity and cultures to drive innovation through collaboration and purpose. And that is what she is. May I request you with my folded hands, again from the core of my heart, you are here, it's not easy. Your sister is holding the hands of your mom, and you just said a few minutes back, anything can happen anytime. I would like you to share with people here, how did your journey go and how you could manage and share us your beautiful, wonderful story. Jan, all yours.
Thank you, DK. Thank you, Pia, for this opportunity to virtually meet, collaborate, and share stories across continents and cultures. This is a particularly difficult day for me. My mother, as DK said, has been hospitalized yesterday, and my sister called this morning saying she has only a few hours to live. I won't be able to hold her hand in her last moments with us. And that is difficult. It's difficult because of the world situation, problems across borders, distance. But I am thankful to be with you. And I'd like to dedicate this talk to her and all women in the world. Woman power, business entrepreneurship, way forward. But how does it start? I'm thankful and privileged to have been born in Quebec, Canada, with responsible, hardworking parents, with a mother and a father that cared, educated us, and loved us. We weren't wealthy, but all basic needs were met. We had encouragement to explore, succeed and fail without being reprimanded. We understood that if we failed, it was merely an opportunity to learn and improve. We had freedom and trust. They believed in us. Secondly, I am thankful for all the people I met throughout my journey, starting with educators, mentors, sport coaches, and everyone on my path that helped me find myself, my strengths, my weaknesses, that inspired me and gave me the courage to push my limits and take risks to realize my dreams. They taught me respect, trust, honesty, hard work, perseverance, humility, and compassion. They taught me we're all imperfect humans with special talents, all with a positive contribution to make to the world. I learned no one knows everything, and the importance of acceptance, diversity, valorization and appreciation, and empowerment of others to ignite collaboration, drive innovation, and find solutions to problems, and find success. At last, I learned by experience and mistakes that attitude, adaptability, and agility are perhaps the most important attributes, especially when you have no roadmaps. My mother didn't share much of her secrets, but two of them resonates with me today. Around retirement age, she said, "You know, I wanted to be a nurse. Before you were born, I went to the hospital. They were doing free training those days. But your dad didn't want me to work outside of the house, so it didn't happen." Several years later, she said, my life was a life lost. I immediately said, "Mom, I understand you didn't accomplish your dream to become a nurse, but you used the opportunity you had to raise and educate us and give us the morals and the values and the knowledge that will live forever with us and through many future generations." Thank you.
Very powerful, and thank you so much. We need to move forward, and I am moving to the third powerful lady today here, Dr. Soumya, Badgayan from Mumbai, India. You know, Soumya comes from a different background, not from the human resources, her marketing and international trade background. And then she finally opted to be part of the human resources and, of course, training and development. 20 years of corporate experience. You can see her winning many awards and doing a lot of work for the community. Very profound speaker, and she is one of a very powerful brand of our women power. And you know, her message is, boss is a boss. That too, if it is a lady, accept some rain and rainbows, but believe that you shall always be nurtured. What a powerful statement, Soumya. Soumya, it's your turn to share your thoughts and maybe your story. Quick one.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. Bakshi, for a wonderful introduction. In fact, I'm so honored to be amongst these beautiful and powerful women here, and I'm feeling feeling empowered by all those energies radiating towards me. So thank you all, ladies, and thank you to all the participants as well. Well, basically, what I wanted to say through those very few words about a lady boss is that we have this boxed attitude whenever we see a boss, and especially a woman. So you can't have a woman without emotions, as rightly set by Dr. Latour. You cannot. Emotions and women go hand in hand, and that is why we are the nurturers to the universe. All right, we have the womb, the power of giving life. No one can take that away from us. All right, and that is something that I truly believe in. Well, coming back to my journey of life, well, I'm born in the family of bureaucrats and educationists. Had a very cushy life in my childhood. Was a very free-spirited person. But I had very powerful influences of my grandmother, both sides, my paternal and maternal grandmothers. Both were educated. In their times, they were all 10th pass and 5th pass, so they knew how to read and write, and also they could converse a bit in English because they were ruled by the Britishers at that point of time. Also, my mother has been a super influence in my life, for the simple reason that she did her BSc at the time when women were not supposed to be that educated. She led the Chhattisgarh Forum, as a woman leadership, and gave voice to a lot of women in that front. And even today, I remember I have those photographs when I was like 2.5, 3 years old. She just put me up on the stage and she said, go do an impromptu speech. And at that point of time, that story about the crow picking up stones and putting it in the pot, I think that was the story that I had narrated to the audience, and I got all the claps and thunderous applause. And I think that was one thing that had, a great influence in me. And then she further pushed me. I'm saying the word pushed is because at some point of time, we as kids, we take life as, we want to be too reticent, too reluctant to even, push ourselves. So she said, well, I am a university topper and I am an MA in sociology. Don't you think you should beat me to that? And that was a challenge that she gave me. And yes, I did get my gold medal, and I owe it 100% to her. Coming back to doing my PhD, it was again, it was a sad story. I lost my husband in 2014 after 14 years of struggle to cancer. And, my daughter was just 9 years old at that point of time. I was in sales. I remember coming back from Hong Kong, and I landed in India at 2:30 a.m. My husband was already in the hospital. He was, Johan, I can absolutely feel the connect with you because I have been there, all right? And it so happens that I landed there at 2:30 a.m. in the morning. My mom said, just freshen up or have something. You've come back from an international flight, and that too from a sales trip, which was excruciating. I'm very blessed to have an organization that is so supportive of me, so very supportive of me. So my colleagues, my bosses, everyone was very supportive. At 5:30 a.m. in the morning, my phone rings, and my father says, you need to come to the hospital. I said, it's over, right, Papa? And he says, just come, beta. And that was it. From there on, I had two sets of old parents, my in-laws and my parents, completely shattered, and I had to be the support. And I was a mother. Had no time to cry, had no time to mourn, just packed him in the morgue because then the last rites had to be performed. Then, as per the Hindu rituals, the man performs the last rites. He had no brothers of his own. Cousin brothers were not, at that point of time around. So my 9-year-old daughter and me, we lit the fire. That was something which was breaking the barriers at that point of time. We did that. Again, with all the support from the society, people were looking at us as, why are you doing this? But that is something that I felt is the right thing to do, because we took care of him for 14 years. We deserve the right to give him a good goodbye. And that's what we did. Today, I'm in a very happy space, professionally and personally. My daughter is 17. We were just talking yesterday to Pia, and she was in this model UN, and she's come out as a very strong, beautiful personality. And I think as a mother, I feel fulfilled. I feel complete. I don't miss anything. In fact, I can look back at my past and I have a smile on me, because spiritually, physically, medically, whatever was supposed to be done, I did that. And there was nothing more that I could have done. So that sense of fulfillment is so empowering. And I think that is something that only a woman can understand, because we give birth. We give birth to a life. We understand life. We embrace life. And we know how and when to let go of that life with a lot of love, with a lot of applause, and with a lot of affection. It's a transition of the soul that happens from the living to the other, and let that transition be very joyous. Just enjoy, embrace, and live the moments that you have shared together with that person in the happiness. I think that is something that gives us all this power, not only as women. I'm not going to box it as a power, but as human beings, all right? It just gives us so much of power to all of us. So that is my journey from where I was to where I am. Thank you very much.
Fantastic, fascinating, Soumya. It has been personally knowing you is indeed a pleasure. And we met accidentally at a conference, and our relationships became very strong. And you are going to be one of an important element in the women power. And the next one, I moved to Europe, I moved to Spain. And here is another powerful lady who was shy. Finally, she is not shy at all. And she empowers and inspires people to grow their authority to share with the world. She's a television lady, She helps people to come out and share the stories of life. Milane from Spain. And when we talk about her message, She says, women being a diverse set of skills that can add and complement the business arena. Wow, what a powerful statement. What is your journey? Can you share with all of us? Milan, yeah, please go ahead.
Absolutely. I'm delighted to share a bit of my story. I'm so honored to be part of this amazing panel. You have such inspiring stories, ladies. You are beautiful inside out. And everybody for joining us. I really hope you can take away something that will either make your day better or make your life better. That would be even more amazing. So I would start my story by asking you all a question. Are you going through life with your mission muted? And here's why I'm asking you this. I can really resonate with Dr. Anna's story because I was also like the good girl, good grades. I was really obedient. I always did what I was told and I was happy about it. It wasn't hard to be like that. And so in a way, everything was easy because I had no problems at school. I did lots of extra activities. I was blessed to have grown in a family that was really enriching intellectually. We were able to travel to read. I mean, we had a huge library at home. We were made to think. We were always taught to look at all different angles. Any question that we had at home, we would be taken to the library and shown a few books there and said, you find your own answers. I'm not going to tell them to you. I'll just give you the tools, but you need to find your own answers. And I have kept that lesson forever. Every single day I remember that lesson because it's a big part of what I do today. So on paper, I was, just a good girl, no problems. But the thing is, because I was such a good girl, I used to stand out without me wanting to stand out. So I was made school captain, class captain. I was given awards and prizes. And I started noticing that every time I got a little prize from the teacher or, something like that, I would lose a friend. And I just couldn't figure it out at the beginning. But what happened was I started to become very, very small. And the thing is, physically, I'm very big because I'm 9'7". So it's hard to not stand out. And, I'm blonde, so people do see me. But my whole journey was about, just stay there, be quiet, don't shine, just do what you're meant to do, but don't try to do anything extra. And that was the pattern of my life. And yes, I had my own entrepreneur project when I was 20. I've always been a business owner. But every time that I felt that business was going to really explode, I just caved in again. And I just became small again. And the thing is, I'm an innovator. And that really clashed with playing small because on the one hand, you want to do things, you're meant for more. And on the other hand, it's safer not to shine and not to stand out. And I'll pose the question again. Are you going through life with your mission muted? Because your mission is going to find you and it's going to give you lots of signals. But what happens very often is that we place obstacles along the way so that mission is finding it really hard to find us. But when we are meant for more, when we are meant to do something to change the world, it can be something small or it can be something huge. That depends on our mission. But we need to open our ears and listen to that mission because that mission is going to find you sooner or later. And I just wish that my mission had found me earlier. Well, I think it did, but I was just always saying no, 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 no. So every opportunity to shine, I would just say, no, 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 thank you, I'm fine here. Just helping people and doing my thing, but not standing out. So that's very related to my mission today. I help people shine. I give them the place, the space, the platform so that they can shine and they can share their mission. Because I have found that my mission is to connect people and help them share their message. I'm just a vehicle. And when I realized that, it made everything so much easier, because I was painfully shy. I was petrified of video. Well, any camera in general. I don't even have a video of my wedding, which is something I will always regret, because I was just so petrified. And when I realized that I was just a vehicle to help others, that just changed everything, because it's not about me doing video. No, the star of the video is people watching. It's that one person who needs to listen to what you have to say today. And you're just a vehicle. So please unmute your missions, listen to your missions, because we all have a mission to follow in this world. It could be big or small, but we all have a mission. So that's my message for everybody today.
Beautiful. That's wonderful. Unmute your mission and follow the mission. Fantastic. And from a shyness, moving forward. And the next powerful lady we have with us is Sandra Villion. Sandra is at 1 a.m. midnight. Sandra, thank you very much from the core of my heart to be with us with the time zones and ensuring that you are part of us. Sandra has been the founder of New Beginning. She's actually she's a Portuguese actually, and parents live there. She moved to South Africa most of the time. Then she was in Mauritius, and finally we were together when she was in Mauritius, in Bangkok, and now finally she is in Fiji. Very passionate about developing and empowering, especially local women, thinking global, acting local. And she does programs of power of you and power in you. And her message in this women power, she is going to be a very powerful person in this entire concept. She says, power women being into the world is the power of wholeness, which emerges through integration of diversity and perspective. Sandra, indeed, pleasure you're here. And we know each other last 6 years. And amazing to see you here and your story, please.
Thank you very much, DK. And I'm really honored to be in the presence of these 7 really special, powerful, and influential women. In fact, I feel enlightened and empowered to be around so much woman power. And thank you, DK Bakshi and Global Talent for the invite. A quick comment on DK. Like many prestigious universities give honorary degrees to those who show a great contribution to a particular field. In my work in Mauritius, we like to bestow a very special title to men who show a true understanding of women's value and who serve to acknowledge and shine the light on women contribution. And we honor men such as these with the title of honorary woman. And DK, you are one of those men. You are an honorary woman for putting together things like this and to really shine the light on so many beautiful women. I also celebrate with all the women who are on this call, because if you are on this call, it means you are learning to grow yourself and to allow your best self to come out. So that's great. And also, of course, to any men that are on this particular call, because you are potential honorary women as well. So my personal story, I suppose, unlike many of the impactful, beautiful ladies on this call, my struggle sometimes seems small in comparison. In my life, I've suffered prejudice that come from being a divorced woman, which includes the guilt and shame and the many struggles with families, my religious community, and even my friends. But I think the one I'd like to share with you is the struggle of finding my place as a business leader in a man's world. Today, I have the honor, and I think, Melanie, what you said really resonated with you, with me, because I also believe in your mission, and I have the honor that in the last 20 years, I've been following my passion and my mission. But the lesson that came to what I'm doing today came where many years ago, as a young immigrant woman, and I was also blessed, like many of the women you've shared now, to have had beautiful parents who've allowed me to believe that I could do anything and be anyone. And with the values of hard work, they were able to get my dreams to come true. And working in the airline industry, I worked in the airline industry, and I was very ambitious. I loved my job, and I grew from promotion to promotion. And in 13 years, I really grew from the bottom levels to all the way to the top. And it wasn't until one day that I will never forget that just being appointed as the regional director for the country South Africa as South African Airways. The CEO called me into the office one day and he said to me, Sandra, you know, you're really doing a good job, but do you know what people say about you? So I was a bit taken back and I said, what do you mean? I said, well, do you know you have a nickname? And I said, no. And they said, well, your nickname is they call you the Iron Lady. So at first I sort of felt, you know, proud. Wow, that's great. And it wasn't until he says, well, do you know what they mean? And I said, what? And he says, well, they believe that you are so hard and you're hard on everyone and you have such demands on yourself and on your team. And it wasn't until he said that I realized that what I was trying to be was to be like the men that I saw. And I didn't realize that I could be the leader who I wanted to be, with being the compassionate, the kind person that I am. You know, that I don't have to have the mask of these prejudice, these unconscious biases that we put on sometimes in the world. And that was such a big lesson for me, that I realized that how do I get that balance, right? Because it's so, as women, we have always sort of these contradictions. Should I be compassionate? When should I be compassionate? When should I be strong and the influencer? Should I be the wife and the person that at home, the house executive? Should I be the leader? And it isn't until we realize that we can be both, and that we can only be both if we respect and admire the true person within. And that was my lesson, you know, and sharing that, really connecting with who you are. You are special enough, and that you can be who you are in terms of following your purpose. And that's my story.
Fascinating. Very great. And to be with us midnight is something very extraordinary for us. And now I move to, from US, from India, I moved to US, and then I moved to Spain, and I moved to Fiji, and now I'm going to move to Afghanistan, neighborhood of India. And I have a very close relationship with Afghanistan because we have done a lot of work, and we are going to be doing a lot of work for the women empowerment in that country. And of course, Africa, we do a lot of work for women empowerment. Farooq Lekha Unchizada is one of a very well-known name from Afghanistan, from Mazar-e-Sharif. We were there last time in Mazar-e-Sharif, conducting transformational leadership. And Farooq has been one of an example of fighting for the cause of women, especially when Taliban movement in the country was at the peak. She's a fighter. She's a very brave woman who, irrespective of all odds, made an impact and created a name for her. Farooq is very passionate for the women power concept, and she's part of this team. And Farooq's message is human dignity, human rights, values, and the rule of law have always been principle for me. So she follows the law, but She is promoting women empowerment. Farooq, tough times in Afghanistan, your story of becoming a powerful woman. Over to you.
You, Mr. Dickey. Hello, everyone. Hello to the people who are watching us. Thank you for inviting for this important panel. Okay, I want to introduce myself. My name is Farooq Liqa Hunchizada. I was born and educated family in Afghanistan. My family is very wisdom and wide brain family. I was born, I grown up, I study, I married, I worked in Faryab province, where I born. As you know that Afghanistan is a war-affected country. Since many years, the conflict is ongoing. We lost million people during the conflict in Afghanistan. Also, millions of the people left their countries to seek safe countries, safe places to live. So also there are 18 years ago, we women went through a darkness period during the Taliban regime in Afghanistan. The women not allowed to get out from their houses without male company. All the schools were closed. The girls not allowed to go to school. The women, all the female were sitting just in the houses. So after 18 years, you know that after ending this darkness period, we started a little bright period in Afghanistan. So when Afghanistan wrote the constitutional, after that, there was a positive discrimination against a woman was in the Afghanistan constitutional. The woman could access to their basic rights. The woman can right to candidate themselves to the parliament. The woman can take the leadership in the society. The woman could take some important and the key positions in the government organizations. So 10 years ago, I'm talking about the women who are living in Faryab province, but I'm not talking about the women who hold the country, because we have very powerful, strong women in Afghanistan. They can define themselves. Faryab province locating to the north of Afghanistan, which is a remote province from the Afghanistan capital, Kabul. It is less attention by our president. So 10 years ago in Faryab province, the women worrying how to present in the society, how to talk against the people, how to define their rights. I was the first woman to establish civil society network in my province, Faryab. Probably the people who are from Faryab, they're watching me in this event. I'm proud of that. You know, we covered many NGOs and institutions in this network. We created a specific address for the civil society. If we receive any contact out of the Faryab province, we could create a good address to answer for any people questions. As a first woman, I established a woman leadership network in Faryab province. I invited 30 females in this network. So I as leader of this network and other women, we all together were talking about the women's rights in this leadership. We are taking the important decision. How can we advocate for the women's rights in Foria province? First, we listed the problems. Which problems we have? How can we resolve these problems? How can we find a way to resolve the problems? At the first, we listed that we did not have any conference room to sit together to celebrate any national and international day for women. So the second, we see that we have the woman business in Foria province, but we did not have any specific place for women to sit for their business. After that, we see that there is no park for women to go and sit with their families to enjoy from the nature. So the fourth was that the women were not in leadership. Yes. So we saw that all the female schools are leading by male. We implemented our plan one by one. We requested a project to USAID to support the family in Foria province. We asked them to build a conference room for us. Fortunately, our sounds received the positive results from the USAID and other donors. They built us a conference hall inside of the Women Affairs Department. This is the big achievement for us. But today, the women celebrate Women International Day, 8th of March, which participated of more than thousands of women in this hall. We are very happy. So the next one, today, we have a women market specific for women. They can sell their production in this market. They enjoy from their freedom. So we changed at least 30 schools, head of male schools to head of female. Now we have all the schoolgirls, the female headmasters. It's another achievement that we have. We could access to our rights. So, but working in Afghanistan is not easy for a female, particularly in Foria province, which is more insecure province. There is many problems, including the patriarchy. So the male of the families are decision makers. They less attention to the female in the rural area, in the remote districts and villages. So as a woman, I worked very hard during the 15 years in Foria province. Okay. I traveled even the more insecure villages. I encouraged the female to be present in the society, to access to their rights. But I think that we have very less time, but I cannot present all my activities in this event. Thank you, Mr. Ricky.
Thank you so much. I mean, it's not easy to be in Afghanistan and talking about women empowerment, and it's very tough. I have seen it myself. Moving forward to another lady who's the youngest here, a very profound story. Her name is Candace Mama from South Africa, a well-known name, and she is in fact among very top 33 inspiring women in the world, along with Nicole Kidman, Michelle Obama, and Malala. She was admired along with these ladies because she has done something very fascinating. She's only 28-year-old, and the way Candace has really built up a model which is an author of forgiveness redefined, and it's actually a great story of redefining. And Candace is certainly going to be one of the powerful brands for us in that part of the world, so far as women power is concerned. And Candace's message is women are the spark the business world needs, leading with grace. Over to you, Candace.
Thank you so much, DK. And I'm so honored to be amongst all of you. I mean, listening to the stories, seeing how impactful each and every woman here is just so inspiring. And I want to thank everyone at home who's watching us. So my story is slightly different from everyone else's. So I come from a country, South Africa, which some of you may know just is 26 years out of apartheid. So apartheid was a very oppressive regime whereby Black communities and communities of color were oppressed by the minority, which was the white community in South Africa. And in 1994, we got freedom. So that was just a little backstory. So my story in particular is when I was 7 months old, my father was brutally murdered by an apartheid assassin by the name of Eugene de Kock. And so when I reached around the age of 9, I discovered this book, which my mom had bought. And I remember anytime we'd have guests over, she'd say, run, go get this book. And she'd send me out of the room. And every time people would scream or cry. And I thought, what is in this book? I want to know what this book is. And so one day I sat outside the door and I knew my father was in the book and I heard the page number. So one day I thought, when I'm alone, I'm going to look at what everyone sees and what everyone screams about. So I had that day and I ran and I got the book and I opened. And it was a picture of my dad's burned body. And on the cover was the person who had killed him. And so it changed my life completely. I went from this cheerful, happy child to a very depressed, sad, like growing adult. And I remember around the age of 23, at the age of 16, I went to the doctor. I thought I was having a heart attack. And the doctor said to me, you know, you're not having a heart attack, but I can tell you I've never seen stress symptoms so severe in someone your age. And he said, your body's killing you. And if you don't change what you're doing, you're gonna die. And I remember thinking, oh, it's okay. Like, I'm okay with dying. And I remember I got to around the age of 23 and I was thinking to myself, I've never really lived. And so I started trying to live and trying to be joyful. And all of a sudden I got the opportunity to meet my father's killer in prison. So I went with my family. We went to go sit down with this man whose name was Eugene de Kock, and he was seen as prime evil or the assassin of the state, but he was really the embodiment of apartheid. And so I sat across from this man and we spoke, and he told me, you know, that he had ambushed my father, that they had set up a trap for my father to drive into. So my father was only 25 at the time. And so my father was driving under the Nelspruit Bridge, and Eugene and his team were waiting. So they started firing at the car. And when he saw that there were still signs in life, he ran down the Nelspruit Bridge and he emptied out his magazine on my father. When he saw that they had still not been deceased, he poured gasoline into the car and he set them all alight. So he shared that story with us. And in that interaction, I decided to forgive Eugene. So I said, you know what, I forgive you. And, we had an emotional moment, and then I embraced him and I gave him a hug. And he said to me, I'm so sorry for what I've done. And your father would have been so proud of the woman you've become. So that was our encounter. I advocated for his parole, which he got. And so my story started going viral in South Africa. And people wanted to know, how do I release anger? Why should I forgive? What is this thing about forgiveness? And I started teaching people that when we forgive, we're not forgiving for the other person. We're forgiving so we can be free, so that we can, live our life fully and impactfully. And so that has become really the message I teach, my philosophy, something I travel the world doing. And yeah, that's why I'm here. So I'm gonna leave it there.
Wonderful.
Amazing. That touched my heart. It's really beautiful story. Last but not the least, I am moving to Rafia Sultana from India, who is in Singapore, a motivational speaker, and of course, she's a coach. Very bright, Asia's most talented coaching since 2019 award winner. And she has been doing a lot of work on, social cause, which got us connected. And Rafia is, of course, a super achiever woman, and she is part of our Women Power. And her message is change your perspectives to turn every change in your life into an opportunity for growth. Rafia, you are the last one. Participants are waiting with a lot of questions. Immediately after you, I am going to get into the questions which they have raised. And I would like participants to raise more and more questions. I have a good bank, but I want every question to be answered by all of you. I may not raise my own questions. I have a set of questions, but I would prefer to take participants' attendees' questions. Rafia, you are going to be rocking the star, rock star. Huh? Okay, go ahead. Your story.
Thank you so much, TK, and thank you, Global Talent, for giving me this opportunity to be here. And it's an honor to be amongst all these beautiful women and inspiring women. And I feel small to stand here amongst them because they are so amazing and inspiring, and what they have achieved is setting a standard for me. Like, okay, this is where I have to reach now. So thank you so much, ladies, for all these inspirational messages. So to start with, I'm sure all of you, you cover most of the information which is important to grow as a woman and as a business, as an entrepreneur in this world. So today, I just want to share a tiny tale of my life, which totally changed my life for good. And it goes like this. So it was 1:30 a.m. Thursday night. I was in my drawing room, sitting on my window with one leg hanging outside the window and one hanging inside the room. Well, what I was doing, sitting on the window. To get the answer to that question, let me take you to my childhood. I was born in a small town in India, and it was a conservative community where girls are expected to be an obedient daughter, and they'll be prepared to be a good wife and mother in future. Besides, my mother was the sole breadwinner for the family of 7. She had been a great inspiration for me, and she was not educated. But to me, she is a visionary leader who raised 3 girls with respect, dignity, and human values. And most importantly, she worked hard to educate these 3 girls. Even putting food on the table was a challenge for us. That was the background I'm coming from. So one fine Friday morning, I got a tiny torn newspaper that my mother brought from the neighbor. I was looking at the newspaper and I was so mesmerized because I saw these 2 magical things on the paper, which I saw for the first time in my life. One is space, another is first women in space. Just so, 1 second. So what that mesmerizing moment of my life at the age of 6 was the moment of birth for my childhood dream to be an astronaut. That was my childhood dream. Despite the fact that I was born in a conservative background where women were not even expected to pursue their education. Dreams are far away. And besides, my mother was working hard to meet ends meet. Under that circumstances, I did not even dare to dream big, but I became the first girl who at least completed graduation in my community, because all other girls were got married by the age of 14, 15, 16. So that was the point. So I was working hard consistently from the age of 6 for next 15 years. I will bring all the books, and there were cultural restrictions. So I did not have a great exposure to all the resources, but I worked hard consistently throughout these 15 years to get good grades so that I can survive and I can get scholarships to educate myself. I managed to get the university degree in engineering, and I completed my engineering, paving the path for living my dream. I also got the opportunity to work in an aeronautics firm organization, which was a great blessing for me. But that exactly was the moon. There comes a point in my life where I have to give up my dream. I can never forget that day in my life. Indeed, it was a big dream. Indeed, it was a lot to work hard on, but I took the challenge, and I did not give up until that point. But that was the point I realized we cannot afford to continue my education, because I had to go to my MS, and it involves a financial commitment, and for which we are not ready. Besides, we had the social pressure also, because we were 3 girls. If you're from India, you'll get to know, or I think not even from India, it's a common norm everywhere, there is a pressure to get married. So I had to get married, and I was married. I thought I will survive this. I took this tough decision to give up my dream of being an astronaut. The dream for which I have been living for 15 years. And so fast forward 2 years from then, I thought I can take it, but I did not realize that deep inside my heart, it was killing my soul. I was a responsible wife. I was a responsible mother, but my body was there, but my soul and my heart was dying every day. I could not share that pain with anyone, but after 2 years, that pain led me to the point where I wanted to end this pain forever. That's why I was sitting on the window. This is the story behind sitting on the window in my drawing room. Thankfully, my husband saved me. He came to check upon me, and he pulled me inside the room. And that very moment, in the utter darkness in my room, in my mind and in my heart, there's only one question came up in my mind. Why humans need to suffer? What is the true happiness in my life, and what is the purpose of my life? Is this the way I have to end everything? From that point to the point today, fast forward 10 years, I started my journey of self-discovery and self-mastery. There were many questions in my mind that tend to commit to this horrific attempt, where no one should ever go. But that's the extreme of mental health issues. People think that it is not okay to be okay, but I say it is okay to be not okay. It is just about shifting your gears. It's not something wrong with you. Especially with the young men and women these days, we see like people tend to give up so fast. So what happened after that is, fast forward 10 years, today I'm living in Singapore, in a country which is not my home country. But I am living much more content and peaceful life with my loving family, and also helping others to live an abundant and purposeful life. By helping them to bring that positive change in their life as a coach, as a speaker, as a trainer, or as a businesswoman, setting an example, right example to my daughter and all those young women out there who are struggling with these mental issues.
Thank you, Rafia. Very, very powerful.
Just to finish this note, so how I just want to answer this question because I understand it's very important because of the COVID-19 issue. How I could be able to do that at that point of time when I wanted to give up everything is like I adapted an astronaut's perspective. It's strange, but I named it after my dream. And an astronaut perspective is looking at the world from a different point of view. And I want to help you to look at the problems from a different point of view and find solutions, working and connecting to your true self and add value to the world with your gifts as an entrepreneur or as a professional, add values with your gifts to the world. So that was about an astronaut's perspective, realigning your perspectives for growth. Thank you so much, DK.
Wow, fantastic. Now let me go to the questions from the audience. The first question goes to Dr. Anu Singh Latter from Nicholson Charak. He says, what advice would you give to the next generation of female leaders? Dr. Anu Singh Latter, quick one.
Advice to the next female leaders, he says.
Yes.
My advice to the female leaders is, while you are treading your journey towards success, failures are the opportunities. Don't get bogged down by what people say. Don't get bogged down by what men around you are trying to, conspire against you. It's part of them. And forgive and forget about what they are doing to you. We as human beings are very different. I would also say that being a woman leader, what very important message is role of a mother. Because while we are women leaders, we do not undermine ourselves. Being that mother inside us is very strong. So I would want that while you're raising your daughters, raise them with a lot of confidence. Give them the assurance of life. Love them unconditionally. Give them the courage to do things. Stand by them. That's so very important. And also raise your sons where they are very sensitive towards the women. They are very sensitive towards their sisters. Ask them to do the work at home. Let them share the daily chores which the daughters are doing it by choice. But boys have never been raised to do that. While they are doing all those things, men become, as you rightly said, the honorary woman. I was so impressed by the thought of honorary woman. And we need to have this honorary woman seen in men. And that leadership role would come from us as a mother first. And then we extend it all to our organizations, of course. Thank you so much.
Thank you. The next question goes to Dr. Soumya. It is from Dr. Durga Mahapatra. He says, what an incident happened in 2014? Who inspired you to sustain yourself? Dr. Soumya.
I guess he's referring to the death of my husband. Well,
Yes.
Well, the only inspiration that you have is you yourself, and that lies within you. When you have no other choice, the only shoulder that you need to lean on is your own shoulder. All right, because that is what is the truth. Because no one is going to come and wipe your tears. No one is going to do anything for you. People may come, people may sit with you, console you, and then it is your life. So you have to have that power within you to say, yes, this is a situation thrown at me and I have no other means but to deal with it. And for me, if I can name one person or one thing that gave me a lot of power is, the two extremities of the age. The oldies who were looking at me for the support, emotional support, and my little daughter who was looking up to me, and I had to be, I had to start playing both the role of the father and a mother to her. So I guess that power is within all of us. It is only when a situation unfolds with you, which I pray to God that none of us face. But if that situation comes, I think the power is all within us. Thank you.
Fantastic. The next question goes to Milane. How do you feel your mission important rather than inner heart decision? This is Dr. Durga. For Milane, how do you feel your mission important rather than inner heart decision? You need to unmute. You need to unmute.
Yeah, that's a great question. I think you don't really know until it happens. So here's what let me just reverse engineer. I think first of all, you need to find your passion, something that you're really good at and something that lights you up, something that's almost like bigger than you, not just a hobby, something that you could see yourself doing in 5 years' time, 10 years' time, something that you want to make a legacy of. And very often when we start, we don't really have that clear vision, but we know there's something there. So we can always take small action steps towards it. And when your mission finds you, it's going to send you signals all the time. The thing is, you need to listen to those signals, and you need to start saying yes to opportunities. Say yes, figure it out later on. And when you start saying yes, things will just fall into place. And let me very, very quickly tell you something. Like about probably 10 years ago, I was offered to host a TV show. I was a designer, I was an award-winning designer at the time. And I was offered twice, 2 years in a row, to host my own show on TV. I mean, obviously, I was petrified of video. I was so shy, I said no. Funnily enough, 10 years after, I'm running an online media channel and I'm in front of video all the time, hosting my own shows. That was my mission, but I didn't listen to the signals back then. The minute I started saying yes to opportunities, that's when everything tends to fall into place. So I would suggest take action and listen, because your mission will find you and you will feel it. Then it just becomes such a powerful force that you just need to keep going. There's no way you can go back.
Very great. The next question goes to our Canadian lady living in Boston. And again, thanks for being here, Yon. And the question coming from Subhash, any example where you converted your hobby into business or a profession?
I think that's an easy one for me because as the story goes, I was studying to be a dental hygienist, a dentist, and then I quit school after a couple years and backpacked Europe and found my passion for cultures, people, languages, and travel became my hobby, but it also became my mission to open up people's mind to traveling, education, and the beauty in everyone and every culture and every religion and the positivity. So for me, my work and my evolution through my work has been fueled from a hobby and a passion to travel and discover, and my curiosity as well.
Very great. The next question, there is a question, do you think resources are important to be successful in individual life? This question goes to Candace.
Sorry.
Do you think resources are important to achieve success in life? The resources.
I genuinely believe the only resource you need in life to succeed is yourself. I think if you know how to look within yourself and trust yourself thoroughly and say, there's nothing you cannot achieve, the resources will come to you. I think it's about you understanding what it is you want and trusting in yourself to get it. So I don't think resources are important, no. I think as long as you have that inner fire, you can achieve anything.
Absolutely. Next question goes to Farooq in Afghanistan. How positive impacts could be, just a moment, I lost it. How positive impacts could be taken out of all odds at your place? how positive impact can be diverted to, finish against all odds in Afghanistan? How do you do that? Your microphone, your microphone.
Thank you, Mr. DK and other colleagues. As you know that I told you Afghanistan is one of the insecure country that the conflict is ongoing since 40 years in Afghanistan. So you know that after I told you before that after Taliban defeated from Afghanistan, and after that the women could go out of their houses and they fight against all kinds of violations against the women. So we established the leadership groups. We took lead of the many organization and institution in Afghanistan. Today we have women in the parliament. Today we have women in the president cabinet as a ministry. We have a woman as a chief. We have women as a police. We have women as a pilot. In many different positions, we have women in Afghanistan. They strong working, they hard fighting against all kinds of violations in Afghanistan. So we took the positive position in the society to change the society. So you know that when a woman was facing the violence, immediately the group of women advocated against her rights, and they support the victim woman, and they keep her in the woman's safe house to protect her life. After that, they followed this case until to the Justice Department, until to access the right of this victim. So we supported the girls to go to school. You know that I told you before that during the darkness of the fighting in Afghanistan, the girls not allowed to go to school. But today, I think that 90% of the girls who are living in government territory, they are attending to the school. You know, today we have dozens of hundreds of the girls went to the out of the country for study in scholarships. The girls are very active. They fight against their rights strongly. This is the positive position that we took.
Yeah. Thank you so much. The next question goes to Sandra. The Ruby says, I want to identify myself, but where do I start? I don't know. Microphone.
Sorry. So thank you. Identifying myself. When I think about that question, I think what comes to mind is first, three things. It's intention. What is your intention in your life? What is the intention that you have set for yourself? And secondly is what's the meaning? What is the meaning that you're giving to yourself? In other words, who are you and who do you want to become? What's that meaning that you're giving? And thirdly, what is the state that I want to be when I deliver that intention? So these are three things that are often, I always say it's a good place to start every day, because if you want to identify who you are, the only person who's going to know that answer is you. And how you can do that is by setting your intention for your life, creating your own meanings in your life, and creating your own state of mind and body for your life.
The next question is, what is the hallmark of a woman? Rafia, what is the hallmark of a woman? And Saloni's question.
Hallmark of a woman is her confidence. Confidence to accept herself as it is, as Dr. Anu rightly said, it's not about your looks, it's not about how rich you are, it's not about your profession. What matters more is how well you are connected to yourself and flaunt your true self out there with confidence. Accept yourself, love yourself as much as you can love your child. Confidence is the key.
Yeah, next question is Dr. Soumya from Meenakshi Khera. Do you experience resistance when you are leading men? Microphone, microphone, microphone. Microphone.
Come again, please. Do I experience resistance?
Do you experience resistance when you are leading men?
Do I experience resistance when I'm leading men? Oh,
yeah, so I'm working for you. So do you think that I can give resistance to you?
Well, leadership is all about leading from behind. And when you are a leader is genderless. So whether you are leading, you know, a boss, a leader, it is all genderless. So when you're leading someone, you're leading a group, irrespective of whether they are, you know, of whatever gender or, you know, the third gender even. Now, if I'm talking about, do I experience resistance? Well, there is always a glass ceiling that one needs to shatter. All right, and it is not easy. It is not easy in any society. We've heard 8 women here from different parts of the world. It is not easy. You know, the thing that happens with us is our education. Like I'm talking about typically in an Indian societal scenario. Our education and our marriage happens almost at the same time. Our first promotion and the first child happens at that same time, all right? Now, with the moment you start planning for the second child, it's like, which one to choose, the career or the child, you know? So you are always going to be in that complex situation. However, it is, again, the nurturing that comes forward. It is always that you choose to be the mother, and that will always come as the forefront, because that's what genetically you're programmed to do. Having said that, I don't think that, you know, there are men, you know, there are men like you, all right? Beautiful men who are supportive of women. I've had beautiful family members who are supportive of me, beautiful, you know, friends and bosses who say, yes, go on, we are all there for you. So it is, again, dependent on which situation you are. It is always a tightrope when you are trying to restrain the human minds, whether it is a man or a woman. So leading
Thank you.
about hearing a thought.
Thank you. Dr. Anu Singh Latter, the question comes, do you suggest 50% reservation in education for women?
50% reservation for women.
Yeah, education.
In India, if you look at the women being represented in schools, colleges, and universities, is more than 50%. All the universities I worked, except for the technology institutions, where we find the representation is far less. And not that women choose to go into fields which are which they find very passionate about it. Otherwise, in all other institutions, women number is generally 65% to 70% in terms of enrollment at the higher education. So I would definitely want around 30-35% reservation for women in parliament, representing constituencies, where you know we have a greater voice and a greater say in policy making, policy decisions of the country, running the country. I would say that will be far more meaningful and purposeful to do that.
Great. Even I am in favor of that, women to get more into parliament and decision making. And of course, I see women CEOs as very successful CEOs. Women prime ministers are very successful. Today, when you see countries where we have women prime ministers, they have handled COVID-19 more beautifully than men. I believe in women power. That's why we are here. Now, another question goes to Jon. So tell us about, the question to you is, what do you think would be the major reasons for women abuse? What do you advise to the women out there to protect themselves for the same? What do you think are the major reasons for women abuse? And what do you advise to women out there to protect themselves for the same? Jon.
I am not sure I completely understand what you mean. Can you rephrase it differently?
I will rephrase. So what are the reasons why women are being abused? This is the first question. You respond to only this. Why women are being abused normally?
Pushed over or abused in a work environment, you mean?
It could be anywhere. So it's basically like we have the countries like Afghanistan where the Afghan lady was sharing a lot of stuff. So we have certain places in the world. What do you think are the major reasons?
My experience with it, and that's all I can speak of, is sometimes because men maybe want some control over you, or maybe they perceive that they may lose some control because of your actions, because of the way you speak your mind, because the way you're truthful about how you transmit information. And sometimes that creates barriers, which sometimes if the person doesn't have an open mind and perhaps has less education, they will try to, instead communicating, sharing information, they will try to control you, to keep you quiet and keep you in the box, should I speak. So there's some sort of mental abuse that way, I feel.
Okay, thank you so much. Let's go to Dr. Anu Singh Latter. Professor B.C. Sharma, congratulating you that you have become the Vice Chancellor of the university, famous university. And at the same time, there's a question to you. What do you advise to women to protect themselves from any kind of abuse?
There are some golden rules which we must all follow. Again, Kiran Bedi ma'am is very close to you, and she has also been, she has forwarded one of my books on drug abuse, drug addiction. And while I have a very close association with her too, I used to ask her, because she was the woman cop in the country, that and she was very liberated herself. She was so liberated herself that she would give all kind of protection to men and women both, with equal force and equal gumption. So I asked her as to what advice would you be given to the younger generation of women. So she says the golden principle, which said that women should not move out in dark alone. They should always have somebody to protect her, is very important. We must push it hard that men should be more civilized, but that actually doesn't happen. So not going to places which are lonely, isolated places, and also not going out of your home late nights and late evenings. That also is a, it may sound very orthodox, but then the reality is that even in a highly civilized societies, women have been abused on the roads. They have been picked up and they have been raped. So when we look at these causes from very close quarters, it comes out that women need to protect themselves against certain kind of environment they should avoid.
Okay, thank you very much. Candice, there's a question which is coming. It's often happened that shy women, they feel emotional while taking a decision about breaking the barriers of human being. What is that kind of how do you encourage women to be out of that shyness? Candice.
That's a great question. And I think you know, women are conditioned to be more quiet, more pushed to the side, like your person. I've got a big personality. So it's one of those things where you shouldn't be loud, you shouldn't be outspoken, you shouldn't have big dreams and big ambitions. But I think as a woman, it starts with what so many of the ladies have said, and it starts with validating yourself. You have to validate who you are, and you have to, you know, affirm yourself. If you believe in affirmations, you have to say, I'm strong, I'm smart, and I'm capable. And you have to believe it. You have to condition yourself to believe it. Because once you feel empowered within yourself, the shyness will begin to dissipate, because it will be like, okay, I may be shy in social situations, but I know what I'm doing. You know, so women need to equip themselves with that inner strength. And you can only equip yourself by either empowering yourself through whatever it is you want to do, or by affirming yourself on a regular basis and making sure that you are very sure of yourself before you present yourself to the world.
Thank you. Milani, there's a question for you. What advice would you give to the upcoming women entrepreneurs for success? So business owners, what's your advice to the upcoming business owners? You have to unmute you have to unmute yourself. Yeah.
Okay, that's another great question. So I would say find your passion, nurture it. We all have a seed, we all have something we do well. Nurture that, be consistent, and surround yourself with the right people who are going to support you and uplift you. And that's really going to be helpful.
Yeah. Soumya, there's a question. How can you inspire women who are facing problem like you? Short, quick answer. You have to unmute your microphone.
I'm sorry, I keep doing that. I'm so sorry, DK. So if I have to say something, that how do I inspire women in the situation that I am? Well, situation is a great teacher. All right. And like I said, believe in yourself, believe in the power that you have. And one thing that really, really helps is, you know, prayers. You know, prayers really, really heal your soul. They help you to rejuvenate from within. They bring a sense of calmness in you. Only in a calm mind and with a calm mind can you always think straight and think right. So get into meditation, do a lot of prayers. Just find happiness in the nature. All right. Remember one thing: whatever is born has to leave the world. And find peace in that. Thank you.
Fantastic. Rafia, there's a question. What do you feel in defense services? Men and women should participate in the spirit of national interests together in order to understand each other well and have a cohesive environment?
I could not understand the context of the question. Can you please put it in a...
Men and women together in the defense come together and work together and enhance the spirit and build a great environment in the national interests.
Yes, it is possible. I mean, is the question is like, let me correct it. So is the question is like, can men and women work together in a defense environment?
Yeah.
That's it, or is there anything else to that question?
Yeah, in a different environment.
Yes, definitely they can work together. I don't think it's not only defense, any environment, men and women work together as long as they respect each other and allow each other to grow together and help each other.
Very great. Dr. Anu Singh Latter, last question to you is promotion or power? Which one you would like to choose, promotion or power? Dr. Anu Singh Latter.
It's promotion or power?
Promotion, or you get more power, or you get promotion in your job. You want more power or you want more promotion? You want more money?
I would neither want the promotion nor the power. I would rather work towards achieving both. Your work is your power. That's what I have realized in my life.
Fantastic.
Purpose of your work is your power. People feel. They come and ask me, ma'am, how do you do so much in your life? While I tell them that I am not doing anything extraordinary. I'm only doing things which are meaningful, purposeful, and I'm very honest about my work. So my work brings all the power to me, that sense of satisfaction to me. I don't need promotion or power in exclusive terms.
Thank you so much, all the wonderful ladies here. I don't know how to say thank you to all of you, but before I go to the vote of thanks, I would like to thank all the attendees, and I would request quickly just few takeaways from this program. Dr. Anu Singh Latter, the Vice Chancellor of our great university in India, which is in Delhi.
Ambedkar University.
Ambedkar University.
Yeah, I'd like to quickly summarize on each and every panelist who spoke, because everyone was so unique in their experiences and they shared. I learned so much from all of you. Thank you very much, all of you, for being here on the panel. I would start from John. I salute you for the spirit you have for coming here today when your mom is so unwell. That is the gumption and the grit you have for, and the message you give to all of us here today. Thank you so much.
I salute her for what she is.
You
And
also,
I love you. When I meet you, I really hug you a lot.
Thank you.
Soumya Dubey, she's from India. Soumya, you are such a great inspiration for all of us and everyone in the audience who have heard you. Then you said, when you spoke about relating to the God and the prayers and the power of prayers, I got so much connected to this message. And while women are there on any forum, they are bound to be talking about spirituality and the prayers and the power of prayer. I hope men also learn all this from men and women.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely, Soumya. Knowing you is indeed pleasure.
Thank you so
And
much.
you know how much passionate I am about you and your work and connecting with global talent.
Thank you. It's
That's
been
all.
an honor. It's been an honor to be in this panel and to knowing all of you. Thank you, Dr.
Absolutely.
Bhakti, and thanks a lot, Pia, for inviting me. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Then Melanie, your mission, you were so committed to your mission and you achieved what you thought was your own. You owned it so passionately. And that's one great message, I think, for all women entrepreneurs in the world, that when you own that mission, that becomes, in fact, it becomes so easy to follow your own way and your own path. So thank you very much for the same.
Thank
I
you.
love you, Milani, the way you come across and the way you promote the businesses and take it forward. You know, we got connected and the way we are building up power of human power. Very great. Fantastic.
Thank
Yes.
you.
Dr. Anu Singh Latter.
Yeah.
Next one.
Next is Sandra. Sandra, what a wonderful thought about honorary woman and the honorary title to be given to men. And you have conferred it on DK. DK, you are so honored that you got this honorary title for yourself. I picked up this idea from you and I'm going to be implementing this idea all over. I'm going to spread your message to the whole world. It is such a wonderful thing you have coined. Yeah, thank you so much.
And she touched my heart and it made me emotional when she talked the other day about this. I
Yes.
said, I really love you and respect you and regard you for what you have done today. I am promoter of women power in the world, for sure, because women is the essence of life. Yeah.
Then Farooq Lekra, is it Lekra? Yes. You are so sweet. You are beautiful. You're innocent, and sweet at heart. You really impressed me and touched me. Everything you said was deep from your heart. I have read books on Afghan women. They are so impressive and they are doing such wonderful work.
Next time
Thank
you have to be with us to go to Kabul. Oh no, last time also I asked you, you could not come.
I missed
Next time you are with us. And Farooq is a
Thank you
wonderful
very
human
much.
being. And I really
Thank you
love
very
Farooq.
much.
I love Farooq for what she is. And I am fond of her
Thank you, Mr. DK. Thank you, all the colleagues. Thank you very much. Happy to be with you in this important panel.
And one very inspiring message which you gave was defining the rights of women in Afghanistan, and then women leadership network which you raised, which led into creating your own collective there, and where women are now participating and they are doing wonderful work. All congratulations goes to you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Then next is Candice Mama. Yeah, Candice, just I salute you for the wonderful philosophy you have. You have forgiven your father's assassin. That shows the strength of yourself, your strength of your soul. I think we must all carry the message from her life. And I'm very sure you're going to go a long way touching lives of many people in your life. That's going to
Absolutely. And I commit to you, I will make sure that this story is taken around the world in our women power.
You would like,
and you are going to be one of an important aspect of this women power.
I would want her to share her case study with all of us so that we can also share with our students. They can learn from your life history. So please do share it with us.
We will. I will make a small video and even share everywhere about her. Very great. Amazing, Candice. Amazing find.
It is. It is. Rafia, you had tough life and you had a wonderful dream of being an astronaut. I wish you do something in your life where we have one space tourism which is going to come up very soon, and there are about 10 to 12 companies which have already been registered. Do experience going in space through some of these commercial ventures which are coming up. So I wish you good luck for doing that so that you can have that astronaut experience by going into the space, by paying it. Of course, you're going to be a tourist there, but I would want you to try that. Yeah.
Sure, definitely. Thank you. Thank you for the information.
Rafia is a very young bride, dynamic. I always tell her you have a kiddish face, and coaching people is tough, but then the way she does it, I really respect Rafia for her, what she does.
Thank you so much.
Rafia's astronaut perspective, do write something more on that so that we can all benefit from your perspective.
Actually, my book is coming up. Anu, I'm writing my book, Perspective Matters, and Away from an Emotion to Excellence. I'm going to write everything about an astronaut's perspective, and astronaut's perspective is also my methodology that I used everywhere in my work.
But that's great. Congratulations to you on that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And Dr. yourself and Dr. Anu Singh Latter, a very well-known name in the country. Personally and professionally, she has contributed to my life and my family life. My kids are fond of her. Her kids are fond of us. And we have been a very great friend. She always dreamed to be the vice chancellor. And we used to fight a lot and say, I want to be vice chancellor. And, you know, she made it, and she made it. With her lovely husband and 2 daughters, they are very dear to me. And the way she could communicate her messages this evening, I'm really thankful to you, Dr. Anu Singh Latter. We are great friends, but at the same time, I hold my hands to you. Ladies and gentlemen, it has been a very powerful evening, and I must respect and salute and with folded hands to all of you and attendees. I have one thing to share. Women Power is a global movement of global talent now. You know, it's approved by United Nations already, and we are doing a lot of work at the United Nations in various countries. However, this global talent, women power is now a global movement. We are picking up women around the world, any part of the world. Please pick up women from your countries, and our target is to create 100,000 women in the world by December 2020. And when we'll have 100,000 women power with us, you know what we can do. Because I am also honorary woman. So let's together make it happen. Thanks to all participants. And I have certainly tried to respond to all the questions. Yes, thank you. And they congratulate for this program. And wish you all the best. Sandra, You are going to be sleeping now. Do you get a sleep at 3 o'clock, 3 a.m.? So each one of you, Dr. Anu Singhlatar, to Yon, to Sandra, to Somya, to Candice, to Milane, to our friend Rafia, and last but not the least, the most powerful woman in this, who is working and living in Afghanistan, not easy, Farooq. Farooq, you are the faith. You are really the faith. I really respect you. All of you
Thank
have
you.
been very wonderful.
Thank you.
And you made this possible to be part of this event. On behalf of Global Talent and on behalf of each one of us, I really thank you for your contribution to make this event possible. You are part of the Women Power, a global movement wherein, of course, Dr. Kiran Bedi is already there. Dr. Anu Singhlatar is there. Dr. Aisha Bhandarkar is already there. And there are people globally who are part of it. I would request you to further talk about this women power everywhere. There could be one man around. There could be a couple of more men around who will help you, because I say women is essence of life. I love women. My mom, my sister, my partner in life, my colleagues, my friends. I don't have a daughter, so there are a lot of daughters. So women is the power. And other day, Kiran Bedi said, women is the quality of life. Women is quality. We are all men, born because of women. With that, thank you very much. Good night, and
Thank
wish
you
you
for your
all
contribution
the
to
best.
womanhood.
Thank you so much.
I am the
you.
honorary woman.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.
Thanks, attendees. Thanks, Pia, for the support. And
Thank you so much.
wish you
Priya.
good luck. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.